Hey everyone. Okay, so this is going to be day 2 of team automation. I know I got on the other day and I did 5 steps to team automation. I think I started with 4 and I added a 5th. But today we're going to talk about day 2. Now, day 1 was a lot about processes. So processes like employee reviews, of regular meetings, of, kind of the stuff that's, the only reason I make that, I don't like to say things that everybody else says, but it's one of those things that it's obvious, it's what everybody knows, but the reason I'm saying it is because I see so many business owners and leaders not utilizing it, which is crazy to me. But I think part of why I say it is because I don't think people realize the impact of using those processes and getting them in order and in action all the time. Once you get that, system going, the changes you'll see are profound. Now today, I'm talking about even more profound changes. So once you have all your systematic stuff in place, this is what I think of as the most powerful solution in automating your team. And don't go away when I say this, because some people are like, oh God, here we go again, because you may not really understand this concept. But company culture, okay? So how does company culture automate your people? Let me explain this to you. So if you're not really understanding what a company culture is, I've said it before, if you've ever seen one of my other videos where I did a talk for a few hundred professionals about company culture, and what I say about it is that culture is to a business as a personality is to a person. So it's really about defining your business in a way, through ideals and concepts. Okay, so you have employee expectations, which are like, I expect you to work 40 hours a week. I expect you to perform all the essential duties. I expect, that's one sort of expectation. This is a totally different set of expectations. And this is honestly the set of expectations that will set you as a business owner free. And as any leader, if you don't even have to necessarily be a business owner, if you're a leader over a group and you're able to hire and do all that stuff, create your own culture, like a little subculture of your, within your company, especially if your company doesn't have a defined culture. But if you're a business leader, you absolutely should be utilizing this tool because it is so, so powerful. And let me explain how this works. So a culture, there's 2 major hallmarks of a company culture. And the thing is once you have these in place, that doesn't mean that it's just going to work, okay? But you still have to have these. You need these. One is a mission statement. Now, what I'll say about the mission statement is, especially for young and growing businesses, is mission statement can be hard, okay? The second part is your core values. And I feel that core values can come a little easily. I'll make the disclaimer that it's very likely that your core values will change over time, especially if you are one of those young and growing businesses. Because as your business grows and evolves, so will your culture. So you may not even recognize certain things about your own business just yet, or your business is vastly different in 2 years than it is today. So it will change, and that is perfectly fine and normal, okay? But what I'll say is core values are fairly easy. They can be words or phrases that define your business, okay? And I'll get more into that in a minute. Now, your mission statement is exactly what it sounds like. It is a very comprehensive statement, and it's maybe usually 1 sentence, maybe 2, but it defines what your business is overall, how you do what you do, and what the ultimate goal of it all is. And so that is why, if you think about that, it's like, whew, okay, it's not necessary. It's not, if it seems super obvious, like, okay, we're gonna sell computers to everybody. That is not your mission statement, okay? Your mission statement is much, much more precise and narrowed. So, and it is difficult. We actually had core values in my last company. We had developed our core values and we had them in place for about 2 years before we ever laid down a mission statement, before we were ever able to get the right clarity about our business as a whole and not just like, okay, we provide this service, to really see like the grand scheme of what we do in our business and to be able to define that mission statement. It took us 2 years. So, but those are two major things. And here's why they're so powerful. Here's how it automates your life for you, is that imagine when you have these things set in place, saying like, we are all about, we want people who are grateful for everything that they get in life. We want people who are innovative thinkers, people who will come up with their own solutions for problems. We want people who have grit, who will persevere through challenges and obstacles and keep, plowing forward. We want, you start thinking about all these things that really apply. Like, look at the people that you have now, all the great people you have now. What is it that you love about them? And you can kind of start there. So, or think about the demands of your business. What does it require? I always suggest that there's some sort of service value, because obviously some, if not all, of your people will serve your customers, clients, whoever. So having some kind of a service value, whether it's, client first, or it's, a first class experience, or it's, you name it, over promise, under deliver, whatever speaks to you, whatever really applies to your customer service ideal. So how this automates is that, first of all, you're going to use this to choose who you hire, because you really need to communicate your culture to the people that you're considering hiring and seeing if they really align with your culture. And you only want to hire people who really align with your culture, because this is where the automation comes in, is when you do have a team of people who align with your culture, which means that essentially in the important parts, that's where you pick your core values. Those are the important things in your business. They think the way you do. Okay? Which means you can let them make decisions. And I know that that's scary. You're like, oh my God, really? Really? Yeah, no, really. If they think like you do, if they think with the client first, if they're grateful people, if they, if they align with these values that you find really important, and it's how you are guided to make your decisions, then you can let them make decisions. I can tell you one thing, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to hop off, but this is really profound if you think about it in customer service. In fact, I think this is one of the hallmarks of Ritz-Carlton, is that their employees, their culture is so thick that they empower and trust their employees to make their own decisions. And empowering your employees is like the hallmark of automating your employee thing, in whatever you want to say, employees, period. Empowering them to make decisions. But your customer service will skyrocket when you allow your employees to make decisions, because when you trust them to think in the way that you would want them to in order to make those decisions, then when they get that call and somebody's upset, they can think up the solution and give it to them right there, rather than go, oh, let me get my supervisor, or oh, let me get somebody else for you. And then the person's on hold and they're already upset, and now they're getting more upset, and they're like, oh my God, they put me on hold. Now you're waiting, and you're like, let me get you to my supervisor. I'm going to transfer you now. And you transfer over, and something goes wrong. It's way better when that person answers the phone. I have this problem. Okay, let's take care of that right now. And I promise you, they get off the phone with a solution, and they're like, yes, that was awesome. That was way easier than I thought it was going to be, because they're already calling in this negative mind state of like, oh, this sucks. And if you give them a solution that's mutually beneficial, and they're able to do that because they're guided by the core values and by the company culture, that's outstanding customer service. That is why Ritz-Carlton is so profoundly popular in the service world, is because this is exactly how they do it. So that is day 2 of automating your practice. Practice. I'm so used to working with doctors. Automating your business. Go back, think about it. What is important to us? And this should be a fun process. Like, I think the first time I ever did this, I got like a huge list of words, and it was just like, okay, yes and no. And then I like narrowed it down to a bunch of them. And I said, well, this is similar to this, but I like this. I think this applies better. And we just kind of narrowed until, and I say with core values, anywhere from 4 to 10, you probably don't want to go over 10, then it gets kind of muddy. Most of the big companies I know, like Zappos and Google and stuff like that, who have really strong company cultures, they have about 10. But I don't pressure you. I didn't start with 10. I think we started with maybe 5. And then we went to 6, but we had eliminated 3 of the 5 or something along those lines. So yeah, go think about your culture. What is important to you? What is important to your business? Define it. What's awesome about this is you are also, when you really start reinforcing this and start preaching this to your people and really getting behind this, the people who don't fit will leave. And that is not a bad thing. I promise you. It will make all the difference in your company. So go do this. Do yourself that favor. Get yourself a company culture. Go define it. Preach it. Live it. Breathe it. Make it something that's really powerful for you. And that will automate so much, so much in your life, in your business. Will free you. You got into business because you wanted freedom, right? So this is a huge way to create a lot more freedom for yourself. So go do it. That's all for today. Talk to you guys later.